I'm back. I want to take a ride with me to the dark web. Figured I'd take you guys on a little ride with me. I accepted a couple friend requests out there in the Discord also. So there's that. Hey, there is this video, guys, that has been going around actually for a long time. And I wanted to, it's a mystery actually, still to this day, on who this man is in this video. I figured I'd take y'all down on a journey with me to the dark web. The dark web is, it's a very interesting place. It is. There's a lot of very weird shit that goes on in what they call the dark web. Most people use Tor Onion when they're fooling around on the dark web. So there's that. I'm just throwing out little pieces of software and things like that, but I'm going to take y'all down on a journey with me to the dark web. And we're going to touch on a very old freaking story that has been out here for many, 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 many years. Now, if you search grave robbing for morons, you will find this. Back in the 90s, you guys remember Morpheus and those different applications that people would use. And then, of course, BitTorrent came out and put them all to shame. And Napster, do you guys remember Napster, Morpheus, when people used to share files with each other? And your computer would essentially become like a node, and you would download the files, but you would also leave them on your machine for upload. It's called a mesh node. And a lot of people will sort of participate in a mesh node. They'll essentially sacrifice their computer resources, okay? They will allow networking, essentially, to perform a job. You may have a file on your machine that gets downloaded in various different bits, things like that. If you're familiar with how mesh networking works, like BitTorrent, how Napster and how Morpheus used to work, the software itself, then you'll understand what I'm saying. But if you come from those times, from the old school Netscape browser days, like me, we had back in the day 14.4 baud modems, Packard Bell computers. My first computer was a Packard Bell, actually. I built all my other computers after that. Every main PC that I've ever had, I built it from scratch. I'll go pick out a board, a motherboard, a nice video card, lots and lots of RAM and memory. Yeah. Put a couple hard drives in there, have a primary, second, it can get real deep. Dual jump a box. I've had dual boot boxes, like I'll put literally Windows and Linux on the same machine. And when I boot that sucker up, the BIOS, I'll set the BIOS to a certain setting and it'll give me the option to choose which operating system to boot into. That's what we call dual booting. I don't know why I'm talking about this. I guess because it brings back old memories and I'm an old bitch, old techie. And I want to bring a little attention to this because this is still a mystery. This has never been solved. So back in those days, the Packard Bell days, the 14.4 baud modems, rotten.com, merman.com, documentingreality.com, Those would be considered like dark sites, dark websites. And it is a thin line, guys. It is a thin line, but there has always been this really weird, like fantasy craving for macabre type things. I don't know why that topic interests me, but it does. So let's go to this tape. There was when people started first going digital and moving VHS tape over into like digital files, AVI files, MP3, MP4s, that sort of a thing. There was a video that leaked to the dark web called Grave Robbing for Morons. This guy is clearly giving a what would you call it? A lesson? A lesson on how to grave rob? I had no idea this was as popular. It's still a very popular thing, guys. I'm not kidding. There are people that will dig up your dead body and take the jewelry right off of you when you die, and you won't know a thing. People do this. It is a very macabre thing, but there is a market for it. I'd be lying if I told you there wasn't. Yeah, it's almost mining crypto is the same concept behind mesh networking. Each machine sacrifices a little bit of its resources, a little bit of processing power, a little bit of memory, that sort of thing, and it participates in the mining process. If you actually sacrifice a few PCs and participate like in a mesh network doing that, you actually make crypto doing it. Not a lot, but if you do it long enough, build up a lot of different resources. Maybe you build a network of machines. You could set up a whole room full of computers actually to help mine Bitcoin. There's a lot of big miners out there. It's a very interesting field also, but it's the same exact concept that stands behind mesh networking, BitTorrent networking, Morpheus, Napster when it was all up, the Pirate Bay. Y'all remember the Pirate Bay? That is also a dark website. But right now, I'm going to have y'all focus on this particular video, Grave Robbing for Morons. It's very creepy. Very creepy. I'll just say it, although I doubt it will ever be solved at this point unless somebody like comes out and solves it. But this guy is still wanted. People still want to know who this guy is giving this lesson, and it has crossed over into the more mainstream, creepy type content. It is a macabre thing. So I will say viewer discretion is advised, but you guys, if you can take it, there's nothing shown on here that is that will shock you or anything like that. So it's not that type of video. But yeah, I wanted to let me put my little disclaimer. Put my disclaimer up just in case. But yeah, we're about to check out this very interesting video. Let's take a little ride to the dark side.
On this big, or if it's a male, you might have lines like that from the baldness. Okay, now so what you do is you grab it around here, you grab it here and peel it back like that. Okay, peel it back, all right, and it'll pull off. It'll make a disgusting sound. So let's say it's someone important, right? All right, so you take a sample of the say that mustache, right? Okay, so you to make sure that I'm authentic, or you take the dentures and you make sure they're with them, so that way the person knows who this person is. All right, because sometimes you go and you risk your ass looking for somebody, all right, and somebody might be paying some serious money for it. So you have to make sure it's the real thing, okay? And
You
you
look
have to
so
make sure it's
young,
the real
right?
thing. So you have to bring some kind of proof that it's the real thing. So you bring a piece of hair, preferably from the longest part, and so let's say they have a mustache, you bring that definitely, all right? This person had a mustache when they died. Then you bring it. It's usually around here, all right? Sometimes you might find it around the jaw. It might be left there. Okay. So when you bring out the jaw, so I'll show you later. I'm in the real coffin itself. It's hard to find, okay, and it's very so you can lose it real fast, all right? So when you find it, okay, the jaw is usually like that, around this shape, okay? It's like that, okay. So when the body decomposes, it's like long like that, okay? It all rots out in a flat line, almost, so you can't see it, okay? See the top usually has teeth, but the bottom is sometimes hard to find, okay? Because it's usually out like that. Now, when you first find it, you might have to do some fixtures, okay, and put spring on the sides. That way,
Hey, OTS. Hey, Dolly. Hey, Astro Kid. We're just taking a little adventure over to the dark web.
You take some screws and everything. You make a hole here, and in the jaw, you put the spring, and then it's fine. It's just like that. All right, it's open and closed. All right, so what you do, so when you first open them up, all right,
Apparently, he stole this skull.
All right, don't grab it by the teeth like that. All right.
He gives the nicknames of himself and his grave robbing crew: Anthony, Gino, Taco, and Poochie.
There's nothing there that will hurt you at all.
And vows to continue robbing graves for the fun of it.
Hurt you. Do not be afraid. Pull it out like that. Do not pull it by the teeth, or else
there is a site dedicated to finding out the origin of the video and the identity of the narrator.
Time. Okay, so you grab it like that, pull it forward, or so you'll have the backbone like this, all right, and you'll have ribs. Now the shirt usually turns hard, all right, so you have to break off the shirt and you have to rip it back. Now, okay, so try and keep this.
I can't believe this.
Right, try and keep the real teeth in.
Grave robbing for morons.
The roots will pop out very.
Who's grave robbing for morons? Look, they really want to know who this guy is.
It's very thin, so that's why these popped out very easily.
Widely popular VHS prey that grew in the early 90s and birthed cult classics of dark and unusual video
was about this far.
That relied on a know-how to circulate. Yeah.
That's how.
Kind of like a merman.
Okay.
Rock.com.
Now, as you can see, these are the nostrils. Okay, for this, you're gonna have to take something, push it in, wrap around thin cloth or something, push it in so that we could get that real clean. On the inside, see on the inside,
all tips anonymous and confidential.
Cut around here, so you have to take something real thin and push it
around.
We
are not the police. We are not affiliated with anyone.
So remember, you have a very small.
We are two creatives interested in discovering patterns and understanding human consciousness.
So you can make sure that the inside is
robbing for morons at gmail.com.
That nice afterwards. As a matter of fact, it won't look.
Sounds like anonymous.
That good at all. Okay, so what you do is you try and make the best. Put your finger in there if you have to, and get it as clean as possible. Or so that way you don't have to make a cut, and it's much better. If you want to afterwards, you could set it down, put a black candle on the top, and let it bleed down. Let the candle wax fall, and it looks nice. Okay, so what you do?
Wow, he's dark, man.
Try diluted bleach on it. Okay, you dip it in there for a few seconds. All right, so wash it off. All right, then afterwards you dip it back in, wash it off. Make sure the bowl does not get that soft with water, or else after a while this will be very fragile. Right, and if you say you topple it over, it will break on you. So what you do is try and dilute bleach as much as possible. Do not paint it at all. Do not paint this at all, because it will ruin the whole thing, because it is hell to get the paint in here and get it right, because you want to see the cracks like this. There's a crack, so you want to see everything so that way it looks real. Okay, you want to see every little crack around the sides, right? You want to know that it's real, okay? So that way you know it's authentic and looks nice like that. It looks much better when it's real, okay? If it's fake, see if it's fake, you will know when it's fake, okay? See, around the nose, it's never perfect, right? Everybody has their own different thing around here. It's always somehow cracked in a way, okay? Around here, you will see cracks. If you don't see cracks around here, not cracks out, just cracks around here, see, after it's washed, then you know it's fake, okay? You should see some around here, cracks that can peel out like this, all right, like that. It's like flaky. That way you know it's real, okay? Around the sides, you will see every little detail on a real skull, but there is no way you can actually duplicate that in real life. There is no actual way you can really do it, all right? Because you have holes going in through here and going out to the back. Okay, all this. So remember, this is all flesh-like. Okay, see this like that. That's hair, right? That's hair left over. This is the hair afterwards. This person had very short hair, as you can see. It's like flaky. It flakes off real fast. This right here.
You know what, guys? I think I'm gonna start a new style of video. I kind of like this style where if you've noticed lately, sometimes I'll come live and I don't say anything at all. I let my screen talk for me, whatever I have up on the screen. You got to sort of pick out the subliminals, and I've been having a lot of fun talking in subliminals. I've had a lot of fun doing that the last few days. I just want to let y'all know that. I think I'm going to create a new style video because lately I don't need to come on camera. I don't need to do any of that. I just have a lot of fun sharing my screen out and just sort of taking y'all on a ride with me on whatever I may be doing at the moment. And this is what I'm doing today on a Black Friday, watching Grave Robbing for Morons. And I am a weird bitch like that. And that's okay. My entire family knows that I'm a weird, strange person. Yeah. Okay. Now that I said all of that, just note that I probably won't be on camera a lot the next long bit. I sort of told y'all that late last year I was going to stop coming on camera. I don't feel the necessary need to come on camera. I'm at this point, like, if y'all want me to really come on camera, then show a little love to a bitch and I'll come on camera. But right now, I just sort of enjoy doing these sorts of lives. So expect more of these types of lives where you may just hear me talking. So I don't need to be on camera. That is, yeah, pay attention. I may throw a little subliminal at you. I am not very accessible to people. I sort of march people through like a very skinny door to have accessibility to me. But I will say, you want to hit the Discord. Last video, I think I said that I probably would respond quicker on an Instagram. Nah, I think Discord's going to be my main motive of communication out to people. I like Discord. And I just like being able to communicate through it. I don't need to check all my emails and fucking Instagram DMs and stuff like that. So y'all forgive me. I know I've had a lot of DMs I did not get to go through. Y'all just give me a break and give me a little grace there, if you don't mind. If I could, I'd flush all those messages and start all over again. Hey, diving. So yeah, let's continue. Let's continue. Okay. I said all the stuff I needed to say about me. Let's continue on down our journey here. Again, this video was made by, you guys remember Faces of Death? Not Faces of Meth, Faces of Death. I actually owned the Twitter handle for Faces of Meth, believe it or not. The guy out there in Oregon didn't. I'm pretty bad about that, actually, swooping up domain names and Twitter handles and stuff. But yeah, we're going to continue down this journey, y'all, on this Black Friday, okay? Grave robbing for morons. We're smoking also. Yes, diving. We are on a nice indica, a nice skunky skunk indica. It's not a hybrid. I actually got a flat indica. And yeah, I'm having a good time. Let's go.
There's my blood, so don't miss.
Dolly,
fake that, you know, for
I know what you mean.
Blood of the person, all right, because they have no blood, all right. This is their blood.
Dolly, you just reminded me. By the way, y'all, give me a minute on the Patreon too. Just give me a minute on that. I'll go and clean up the last few videos, but I have not dropped any content on the Patreon, so y'all give me a minute on that one, okay?
Shit. It's already decayed. Okay, this one is from a very long time ago. Okay, if you find something more new, you can expect more reddishness. Okay, so this one will end up a little brown. Okay, because it's very old. Okay, so after you wash it, so it'll be like brown and like beigeish. Okay, but if you find something new, it will be reddish all around it. It'll be red. If you find something really old, okay, it will be brownish all around. So you leave it in on your roof or something. Okay, but all right. So like,
that's how you know you've hit the dark web, when you start trying to hit links and none of the links work and shit. Like, bitch, if you want to see this video, you're gonna have to come over here to like documenting reality or some shit. Damn, let me make sure I'm not on my company VPN right now. I don't want any traffic going through my company VPN right now. I pretty much stay connected on the VPN 24/7. But this here might draw a few questions. The company might say, hey, what are you over there watching? We got an alert. Grave robbing, you know? Yeah, a little grave robbing. Hey, Natalie. Hey, Nanya.
In the summertime or something, when there's a lot of sun, it's real hot, and at the wall, this will get all white. It will be beautiful. Everything, you can put it anywhere. So you put it on the wall, find a way to fix the sun, it will look great. And if you also get the leg bones, it'll look even better like this. With both of them on it. Like that. It'll look beautiful. So what you do, okay, some of them you might find some more metal on it than others. All right, so what you're gonna have to do is actually reach in and get these out. All right, see this part, it's on the inside. See this part on the inside and everything. It's always glass, all right? But for the legs and everything, you always find it's metal. Sometimes you will find it's glass.
I'm trying to figure out, guys, what he's getting out of this. What is he actually gaining from this? So he runs around robbing graves, and he happened to mention getting paid for it. So there's a network of people. And it actually sort of leads me into this story I'm going to be talking about in my next video about this lady, Cassidy Rainwater, who, she's the lady everybody was talking about, who was held in a cage for months, being brutally treated. by two weird sexual predators who killed her, dismembered her on and I know this is very difficult to hear this, but you know the deer gurneys where they clean a deer and process a deer? They hung this woman from one of these contraptions and proceeded to dismember her and eviscerate her. And the video is floating around on the dark web. Yeah, you heard me right. This woman was held for months in a really dilapidated, broke down piece of a fucking shack where these two men, and come to find out the property was owned by, or apparently is visited by, a ring of sex offenders. Shout out to my daughter for throwing that story my way. I don't know. I think I'm going to do it later on tonight. It's just when I do them type of stories, it's kind of hard to do those. The older I get, the more like, it's like if I don't have to, but the photos and the videos are floating around the dark web. It's fucking disgusting. These people, there is, believe it or not, I'm just telling y'all what I know. There is a market for that sort of content. People are digesting that sort of content and paying for it.
It's metal. I switch it. First, I have to do.
Let me finish when saying that there were a few photos found on a website. It has a forum that is dedicated to cannibalism. So yeah, there's that. It's, y'all, people are crazy. People are nuts.
Cloth. You have to peel back the cloth, which is very hard. As you can see, this is very hard to rip. Right?
Yes.
Say this was hard.
Yes, Astro Kid, there are really people that pay for that. Yes. Yep. There is a real market. It's as easy as throwing up, a fresh site, throwing a little bit of software on there to build that site up. Those sites spring up so quick. They spring up so quick, and they're offering all sorts of different things. The market for photos and videos of people killing other people. They call it snuff. It's called snuff. And there's been a huge market for snuff films over many, many, many years, ever since film came out, really. For some reason, people want to see that type of shit. Called snuff films. Most of the times when you run up on one, if you've ever ran up on one, half the time you don't know if are they real? Did that really happen? Did somebody really die in that particular film? It's a myth. Myth, as they say. A very specific definition for snuff films. They are considered films in which a person is killed on camera. The death is premeditated with the purpose of being filmed in order to make money. The Chans have been notorious for snuff films to have to be dropped. 4chan, 8chan. Now you guys with me now? Are you with me now? Remember 8chan and 4chan and Netscape? Very simple, basic sites. Yeah, I'm kind of taking people back, I think. But there's been a couple of murder cases. The very famous murder case with the Canadian serial killer. The Netflix documentary was made about him. Blonde-haired cat. He killed a man on camera in his bedroom and proceeded to dismember that man on camera and then uploaded the video to 4chan, or was it 8chan? One of them. one of the Chans provides anonymous ability to drop messages completely anonymously. And that's what made it so popular. And the snuff film, you would call that a snuff film, dropped on one of the Chans. And that's how police ended up finding out about it as well. Yeah, it's pretty sick shit.
Hard, all right? It would be very hard. You have to find a knife and you have to make a slice, okay?
These are actually
Peel it back
popular
like that,
snuff films.
okay? And you will find the ends of the bones. You will not see the rest
Just
of it.
check
Right?
this
You will only
out.
see this part.
There's a wiki link.
Right? You only see the ball of the bone, right? So you grab the ball, you drag it forward, it'll pop out like nothing. And that's how you have that. All right, if you want fingers, do not move anything. Don't move nothing at all, or else you will not find them. All right, because once you've mixed up all the bones, you won't see which ones are fingers or which ones are toes. It's very hard. So what you do is, before you even move this part,
Let's see.
all right, you find the hands. All right, you take out the fingers because those are small. They're very small. They're in parts. All right, if you rip off this part, you will leave the rest, and this part, and this part, and this part. All right, so if you want this part, all right, you have to take that out first, right? Because it will break off like nothing.
Oh, I've been hearing people talk about this.
Very easy to break off. All right, the flesh is exactly as I've explained, like this, like nothing flaky. It's nothing. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's that old. This one is very old, so it's nice. So look for dates that are over 60 years old. If you find something over 60 years old, this is what you will get, or maybe even a bit better. Now, if you find something over 60 years old, you are in good luck.
Wow.
All right, see, it's that way you don't have to wash off much. You wet it and the rest will fall off. And it's very, very, very easy. Now, if you find something more new, you have to rub it and rub it and rub it, or you gotta wash off all the blood and everything, because it's a bit more new. This one has almost no brains. Let me see. Right, there's a piece of the brains. Let's see. Right, there's another piece of brains. If I had something wet here, I would wet them up and let you see how the brains look afterwards. Okay.
The person in this video is still a mystery.
In the chunk, right? If you shake it, it won't sound crisp like this. All right, sounds very crisp. Now, some of them might sound a little more fleshy-like. All right, it won't be fleshy, but it'll be soft. All right, and once you wet them, they're gonna turn into brains, and they're gonna be very soft. So you have to watch out for the drain in your sink, as it might.
Y'all, that dude did that. He has robbed graves a few times. He is explaining way too well for me. It really makes me uncomfortable. Are you comfortable, guys? Are y'all comfortable?
Get caught in there. All right, so what you do is you shake it out in the toilet, or you shake it out in a bucket, because it will get caught. It's best if you wash it in a bucket. It's that way afterwards you can see what's solid and everything. You can put everything in the toilet, and that way nothing will get caught. Make sure there's no witnesses when you leave. Always bring a bag. If you leave witnesses, sometimes you might like doing these things and everything. After a while, somebody might see them and say, that was him. Never let anybody point you out, right? Because if you get pointed out, it's very easy, all right? So let's say you robbed around 5 graves, all right? All right, for the first one, you might get caught, all right? But if there's witnesses for the rest of them, you will get caught too. Why? Because they're going to blame you for it, right? Because they caught you for this one. That means you most likely did the rest of them, and the judge will say it was you. Never leave witnesses. If you have to knock them out so that way they think it's a dream. It's best not to kill, but if it's necessary, do it.
He needs a good church. He needs a really good church. Hey, William Carruthers, how are you? I hope you had a really good Thanksgiving, Mr. Carruthers. Like, there's something wrong here. There's something definitely wrong here.
But it's just best
I want to go
to always have
shower.
a nice dark bag, not plastic white like this, where you can see through it, right? You can see shapes. Use paper bags or a book bag that's leather or something like that, so you can't see the shape. So when you finally find the place, make sure it's cure and everything. Make sure you so always bring more than one person. Make sure one person is outside. Make a test first. See how much noise protrudes outside. Okay, you have to set somebody on each side. So make at least 4 sides to make a lot of noise. All right, so the person on one side, you count out how much noise there is. You do that on each side around. All right, and that's be roads nearby. See how far that noise will reach. If it's windy, the noise will carry. Right, the noise will go far. Okay, it will go much more farther if it's windy. Okay, if it's raining, the rain will help you a lot. If it's snowy, the snow will leave footprints. If it's summertime and there's no rain, then that's, I think, the perfect time, except for one thing, the guards might be a bit active at that time. So what you do is in around July when it's a little cold, you wear some nice warm gloves. The guards won't be as active and everything because they're going to be cold, exactly like you are. So that way they're not going to be active. So still gonna ride around, but not listen that much. So what you do is around, when it's a little cold and it's not raining or snowy outside, you do it. In the summertime, you can take the risk, but they're a bit more active, so it's risky. Okay, so what you do? So you go to like a magic shop where they like skulls and everything for rituals. Okay, so I think you could get around 250 for one of these. If you get a leg bone and it's carved into a necklace or something, you might get around 650 for it. It's really worth it because a lot of people won't do this, and and this is worth a lot of money, because it's real, right? This is authentic. So like a lot of people will pay some serious money for it. What you do is you sell it. Do not put your real name or anything. So while you're in the shop or even in the neighborhood, do not say your real name or anything.
Wow. Wow. Hey, Chopper, how are you, sir? I hope you had a really good Thanksgiving. You guys. This is deep, man. This is real deep. But again, this is my little trip down to the dark web, so y'all gotta give me a little grace here. This was made in the 90s.
Right, if you have friends with you, ask them to switch your name or something like that. Try not to leave that many clues around, like videotapes, like exactly what we're making now. Don't make that many of them. All right, don't make tapes. Do not make records, because if you are caught, if they find those in your house, you will get caught badly. All right, this video is that way you will learn if you're a beginner to this thing. It's fun and everything. You can do it for fun only, just to see what you end up with and everything. Because
the amount of detail you provide is
if
creepy.
You can find something
He talks too much. Yeah.
and you'll find something real good. It's gonna it's gonna smell like.
Y'all, this is literally like looking into the eyes of a very demented person. This is not anywhere near normal. It's quite strange, actually. But he seems to want to share it. And this is before digital media, before social media. But this was a way that people used to network with each other. People always have a want or a need to share things for some reason.
Like crazy. I think it will. I really think it will. It will be a little fleshy. I think that's the good part, because if you ask me, all right, your first one's going to be very exciting, but your second one's going to be a little boring. This is my second one. This is a little boring. I find no fear in holding it, tossing around, really, and everything uses a baton. It don't matter to me anymore. If you find something fleshy, that bugs you out. Seriously, because it really catches you. It smells, it's hard, but in a way, it's weird and everything. You can see what the person looked like when they first died. Right? They're gonna be a little decomposed. So all right. So you look for something about 1 year old at the most. If you want, you can look for a freshly dug grave. Look for a freshly dug grave. It'll be a little hard to find because so let's say in a mausoleum, right? 5-year-old tombs look exactly the same as 1-year-old or 3-month-olds. Okay, but if you're outside,
Yo, check it out. If they get something new, you have to bring some kind of tool, man, because to get the head off, like this is so old that you can just pull the head off. Something with skin on it still, man. You have to rip that shit apart. You have to fucking get
bring
a hatchet or something.
Yeah, if you want to and everything, you could bring a knife. Most likely, all right. If you want, you could grab it exactly like I said, by the eyes. Okay, there's gonna be eyeballs still. That's why you wear gloves. Don't think of it as a prop, as if it was from a monster movie, just something fake. All right. The eyeball sockets don't fit that well. Okay, but when it's old, you could really push them in. Put your fingers.
I never said that the trip to the dark web would be fun. I never said that. I hope this guy got some help.
Lock them around like that. Pull the head back like that. Okay? Pull it back like that. It should loosen up from the spinal cord, so that way you don't mess up this part and everything, ripping it off. Okay? Pull it back. Okay? And afterwards, you could bring a knife, cut open the neck, and just rip off the rest. Just grab it like that from the jaw and rip off the rest, and it should pop out if it's new. It's going to smell. It might feel a little moldy. Don't think about it. Think of it as a prop. If you want, you can look for something underground. Underground, you should bring at least six people with you. Bring around three to dig for you and everything. So you dig and your friend digs, and then it's another friend digs. You have to find some place really secluded, so that way there's no interruptions. Okay, so you each take turns. First one digs, then the other digs, and the other digs. All right, you keep going in a circle. All right, the rest of the three have to be lookouts, because if it's outside, you're out in open ground. It's dangerous. So you have to make sure you do not get caught. If you get caught, this is a serious offense. And I know it. I don't know why I did this. It's fun. I like it. So what you do is you bring guards. Guards are a major necessity. If you have walkie-talkies, even better. Just make sure you keep switching channels every 10 minutes. You should switch to another channel at random. Okay. All right. So right before you go, say you're on channel 12, right? All right. So make the next one 22. All right. So then you hop to 15. All right. Then you go to 14. You don't just do it at random. Do not make it and so make it in no mortar whatsoever. Okay. If you want, you could really set them off by putting down clues to it that wouldn't be there out of the ordinary. If you want, you can actually go out of the way. You can bring the old shoes, right? That you have and everything. See, I'm sure you have some old shoes, so you can wear them, right? So you wear those backwards, or you walk, right? You backtrack a long while, all right? Then you walk forward, everything with those shoes normal, all right? You go all the way back to the grave, right? Then you walk off in some other direction, right? So that's gonna set them off majorly, right? So you have to think. To make
Absolutely,
new.
Mr. Carruthers. Absolutely. I really hope all of you guys had a really good Thanksgiving. Thanks for coming through and gracing us in the chat.
New clues to these things, all right? Because they're not just sitting there waiting for you. Then you have to make new ones up so we can set everybody off track.
Hey, Gloria.
It's like you rob somebody important's grave, okay? So everybody's gonna be looking for you. So you have to set them off the track totally. Make sure they are off the track. Don't drink like I've been drinking.
Again, for those just coming in, this is a popular video on the dark web that has been popular for many years on the dark web. And I figured it started to perch out to the mainstream now. So I think it's interesting. So we're taking a little trip to the dark web today. Grave robbing for morons. A infamous VHS tape. Nobody knows where it came from. Nobody knows. But it showed up. It just showed up one day. And ever since that day, everybody wants to know, who is this man? Who is this dude? People still don't know. No, people don't know who filmed it. People don't know who is in the film, who's talking. It's a mystery, actually. It's a mystery. Still a mystery after all these years. And that's why I was taking y'all back to the Netscape browser days and the Napster, the Morpheus.
When you rob graves, because you can't run as fast, and your instincts aren't just that well tuned when you're drinking, because you get drunk and you're just a little. All right. So other than that, it's virtually easy. It's a nice business if you find the right people to buy. All right. See, it's like your first four or five graves, they're gonna be fun. But after a while, you're gonna be like, I want money for this. And so you find somebody who's like, who wants this person. All right. So.
Wait. That dude does sort of look like him, doesn't he? He sort of looks like him, but you can't tell. You cannot tell. It's interesting. Okay. Oh, okay.
It's like if you want Elvis or something, you get at least $1 million for it. All right. You want Marilyn Monroe, at least get $1 million for it. You get high prices. The more famous they are, get the most high prices. All right. So if that person really wants it, they will get that money. Or else otherwise, it's not worth it. And always ask for money up front. Ask for at least half. So not half. Ask for like 25% up front. All right, because you're risking your ass. Your ass. I'm actually walking up there. I'm up front and robbing it. Because suppose you get caught and everything while you're robbing the grave. You should at least waste some of the money and everything so you have fun before you get caught. Because I don't think you want to go to jail. everything well, without having wasting none of the money and everything. You know, you want to have fun before you do it. The night before you do it, you should get laid. You should get laid because that exercises certain muscles, and as a matter of fact, you do have a lot more energy. Because I don't know why, it seems to exercise a lot of the muscles that you have, and the next day you somehow do have a lot of energy and everything. And there's a lot of things you might have to do while you're getting this out. And things, you know, it takes a lot of exercise. You have to push a lot and everything. You might have to run a lot if you get caught. And I don't know. So that's about it for now. The next time we'll show you the coffin itself and the way we opened it and the way it was done. Okay, this was made by Anthony. Well, as a matter of fact, let's forget the last name.
Did he just make a series? Did he literally just say that in the next episode? Did I just hear that right? Did I stop? Did I just hear that right? What's up, talent? He looks like Ralph Macchio, but did he just actually just say there's going to be another episode? Hold on a second.
Getting this out. And things, you know, it takes a lot of exercise. You have to push a lot and everything. You might have to run a lot if you get caught. As a matter of fact, you do have a lot more energy. Because I don't know why, it seems to exercise a lot of the muscles that you have, and the next day you somehow do have a lot of energy and everything. And there's a lot of things you might have to do while you're getting this out. And things, you know, it takes a lot of exercise. You have to push a lot and everything. You might have to run a lot if you get caught. And I don't know. So that's about it for now. The next time we'll show you the coffin itself and the way we opened it.
What? What? Hold on. That is so creepy. He said next time. Next time I'm going to show you. Wow.
So that's about it for now. The next time we'll show you the coffin itself and the way we opened it and the way it was done. Okay, this was made by Anthony. Well, as a matter of fact, let's forget the last name. It's Anthony and Gino. Okay, this was made by us too.
Oh, wait, did we just get a face? Did we just get a face?
Well, as a matter of fact, let's forget the last name. It's Anthony and Gino. Okay.
Okay. There is a market. People are spending money on this type of macabre stuff. Maybe they're living their darkest, deepest fantasies through someone else on film.
It takes a lot of exercise. You have to push a lot and everything. You might have to run a lot if you get caught. And I don't know. So that's about it for now. The next time we'll show you the coffin itself and the way we opened it and the way it was done. Okay, this was made by Anthony. Well, as a matter of fact, let's forget the last name. It's Anthony and Gino. Okay, this was made by us too.
I guess that's Gino, huh? Anthony and Gino, because Gino made sure he got a little FaceTime in the camera. Because they are selling, they definitely sold that tape. Wow.
The coffin itself and the way we opened it and the way it was done. Okay, this was made by Anthony. Well, Well, as a matter of fact, let's forget the last name. It's Anthony and Gino, okay? This is made by us too. We worked hard. Also, Pucci and Taco. Also.
Wait a second. Is he giving out shout outs? He's actually giving out shout out on the VHS. He wants to make sure that we know who made the video.
This, well, as a matter of fact, let's forget the last name. It's Anthony and Gino, okay? This is made by us too. We worked hard. Also, Pucci and Taco. Also helped it at the very beginning. Me and Gino first opened it up, though. All right, we opened it up. We broke it open, but the other guys helped out a lot. I like to put them in this, but they're not here because they really helped at everything. Because we're the forefathers, me, Taco, and Pucci, and everything. We're the first ones who opened up everything. We made this trend from now on. This is a trend. We will keep doing it for the fun. And soon, and our next big hit is Houdini. If you're watching this video, then you'll know who it was. Bye-bye. And
Wow.
Pucci and everything. We're the first ones who opened up. Also helped it at the very beginning. Me and Gino first opened it up, though. All right, we opened it up. We broke it open, but the other guys helped out a lot. I like to put them in this, but they're not here because they really helped at everything. Because we're the forefathers, me, Taco, and Pucci, and everything. We're the first ones who opened up everything. We made this trend from now on. This is a trend. We will keep doing it for the fun. And soon, and our next big hit is Houdini. If you're watching this video, then you'll know who it was. Bye-bye.
Loosely dated the production of this video. You see early on in the video, we can see a VHS copy of the film Evil Dead 2 sitting on a table nearby. And that movie was not published on VHS until 1987. So this video was recorded at some point after that date in 1987. And everything else in the room seems to match the aesthetic of the late 1980s or early 1990s. However, because the quality of the film has been so degraded by time, it's almost impossible to determine exactly when or even where this video came from. Was this real, or was this a group of teenagers playing pretend? Was it a viral video from an era in which nothing went viral? Was this all a big joke?
I diluted bleach on it, okay? You dip it in there for a few seconds, all right? So wash it off, all right? Then afterwards you dip it back.
Anthony claims to have sold skulls and other human remains to magic shops in the area, which doesn't sound like something that would happen in real life. Okay. However, it is worth noting that until just recently, human skulls were being sold online for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And that brings us to our next point, the argument against this video being a hoax. Here, I'll drop a link to this, y'all. Y'all can go check this out. Very interesting article there. I know this may sound crazy, but if you put yourself behind like a museum or some sort of business where you're showcasing human remains, I mean, they do have like showings where you can go, like the body, the one where they, remember when they did the autopsy live and live streamed that. Do y'all remember when that happened? The weird doctor of death guy that popularized putting like some special type of like acrylic into people. What the hell is that exhibit called? Hold on a second. Body exhibit. Hold on. I actually went to it in Las Vegas. Body Worlds, yeah, this one. He manages to make they're real human bodies too. These are actually real humans that donated their bodies to science. I don't know if you guys have ever looked into this, but it's interesting. This guy perfected a method where he somehow like preserves the human body in really strange poses and puts them on exhibit. He does really crazy poses with them, you know. It's interesting. I've seen one of the exhibits there where they took like, I think it was an arm or a leg or something, and they chopped it into very small pieces where you could see like how the bone is. They showed nerves, the nervous system in human beings. He somehow managed to preserve that. It's almost could be considered kind of crude too, but some would say that this is art, right? Anyway, skin. That's somebody's skin. It's pretty amazing. Is it ethical? These people donated their bodies to science. They signed on the dotted line. That's what they want us to believe. There's always been this weird market, y'all, for dead bodies. Yes, you heard me correctly. There are doctors that use dead bodies as specimens for a variety of different reasons. And doctors have been paying for dead bodies for years. There's been some serial killing groups that have been found that were killing people and then taking their bodies to these various doctors, like making sure they had plenty of what they needed, dead bodies, for whatever medical reasons. It's just the truth. Very interesting. Men on a horse. Yeah. Having sex. Wow. I've never seen this one. This interesting. So you could kind of see where I'm going with it. Do doctors bend the line into being unethical at times in order to get a bag? A couple of dead bodies. We get to put up a couple exhibits. put them up in Body Worlds or whatever exhibit. There's been a couple of them that have sprouted up. This guy, Gunther von Hagens, he also did a autopsy on live stream. A couple of autopsies, actually. It was a very well put on event, very interesting event. I don't know, it's been a while. It's been maybe 5 or 10 years since he did that. I don't know if he's did any others since then, but there were people that he somehow came, and I'm not saying that this particular guy, this Dr. Gunther von Hagens, that's just his museum right there that you see. I'm talking about just like in general overall. I'm just being a conspiracy theorist here, but take it for what it is. But where do they get those bodies from? They tell us that these people have donated their bodies to science and that they know what they're getting into. And it's like these bodies come in, they sort of look at the bodies, make a decision on where to categorize it. Is there a business there? Yeah. What an interesting exhibit there where the man is holding up his skin. It's crazy. Hey, okay, let me see. I haven't even looked at the chat here in a second. Let me look at the chat. Which is used them. Yeah, art meets the human body. Yeah. 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 So I'm just like, what is driving this guy? What drives him? Is he doing it just for the fun of it, I guess? And the thrill of making another video? Because that's what it sort of seems like. Again, they have not found who this person really is. No one really knows. It's still a very big mystery. You'll check out that unresolved.me link that I threw in the chat when y'all get a second. But let's look. I just want to look a little bit more here. I don't think it's a hoax at all. I don't. When I look at this video, I don't. Yeah, something's not right there. I don't think it's a hoax. I think he probably created some sort of chain where he was making videos doing this stuff and there's people willing to buy it. It sort of makes me wonder what happens to all the other dead bodies that get disposed of each day. Do they, like, when you're put in your casket, are you really going to stay in there? Or do you have to worry about some weird grave robber who's going to come back and, steal the jewelry right off your ass? When are you ever going to dig that person back up? I've always thought it was the dumbest thing to bury people with their jewelry and their cars. It's just stupid, I will probably be cremated, but if I had to hazard a guess or try to make a plan on that, I would really prefer to be almost just put in the ground, just naturally. And there are some natural graveyards, believe it or not. They make this big deal about autopsies and having to put chemicals in you and all that sort of a thing. I don't think that's necessary, but I don't want to be like put on display. I don't want my dead body to be on display. Just put the casket down. Now, if there's a private little place for my kids and family members to visit my body, I'm cool with that. But I don't want to be put on no public display. So there you go. There's a little bit of info. My kids will probably hear it here first anyway. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Do you have to worry about if somebody? Yeah, you do. The fact that people are not going to be sitting at the graveyard at night waiting for the sun to go down. People are looking at the freshest graves. I mean, when COVID was going on at its height, it's still going on, I know, but I'm saying when it first happened, there were people that weren't being buried for days and days after they died. It was like a backup of getting people buried actually into the ground. So yeah, I always thought it was stupid to throw, people's physical belongings and bury them with them. Yeah, I want you to bury me in my car. Yeah. Bury me in my car. Faces of Death, I think, spawned a lot of these types of dark web videos. My question is, how many people make videos to try to up the ante on this video?
I can wash it off. Make sure the bone does not get that soft with water, or else after a while, this will be very fragile.
Wait.
Say you top line.
Anthony Casamassima, a man from Queens who found himself featured in a New York Times article in September of '99 by Patricia Leigh Brown titled "A Passion for Graveyard Art That Took a Criminal Turn, Tiffany Glass and Other Tales from the Crypt." This article detailed the then 40-year-old Casamassima's illicit career as a grave robber who had been stealing from tombs and mausoleums throughout the New York area for roughly 15 years, dating back to 1982, when he would have been in his early 20s. However, unlike our Anthony from Grave Robbing for Morons, this Anthony stole things like artwork, sculptures, and Tiffany glass windows, stuff that he could refurbish and repurpose, preserve, and or sell. The New York Times article details how Casamassima was being brought in to testify against one of his clients who had purchased and then resold a 9-foot-tall Tiffany window, which he knew Casamassima had stolen from a graveyard. Both were later convicted on grave robbing crimes. Online theorists continue to believe that Anthony Casamassima might be the Anthony from Grave Robbing for Morons. Some consider it very unlikely, namely because of the age discrepancy. Grave Robbing for Morons was filmed sometime after 1987, which we can surmise from the Evil Dead 2 VHS cover seen on the table nearby. If we compare that to Anthony Casamassima, the noted New York grave robber, then we come to an issue. In '87, Casamassima would have been around 30 years old, which is significantly older than the Anthony from Grave Robbing for Morons. They say he's no older than 21 or 22, but how do you know that? He could have passed for an early 30-year-old. He definitely knows what he's doing.
Sometimes you will find it's glass, but a lot of times you'll find it's metal. All right, so what you first have to do. All right, so this is cloth. You have to peel back the cloth, which is very hard. So as you can see, this is very hard to rip. All right, so say this was hard. All right, it would be very hard. You have to find a knife, and you have to make a slice. Okay, you peel it back like that. Okay, and you will find the ends of the bones. You will not see the
Oh,
rest,
the mystery
but
gets
you will
even
only see this
better.
part.
The mystery gets even better. So it's possible that Anthony from the video was loosely connected to Anthony Casamassima, having been sent out to collect trinkets or pieces of art from graveyards and bring them in for a small commission. That, I believe, could be possible. But then another man named Christopher Bushi, who is an independent filmmaker that started making films in the mid-2010s, namely low-budget horror films that he distributes through his company, King of the Witches. Independent horror movies and Mondo documentaries, reminiscent of Ensuring Your Place in Hell. As far as I can tell, Christopher Bushi's involvement came out due to just two factors. First, he sold and distributed a version of Grave Robbing for Morons. Second, his last name, Bougie, happens to be spelled very similar to one of the names uttered in Grave Robbing for Morons, Poochie. Other than that, there's little connected Bougie to the bizarre video. In 2017, the website for the podcast Sword and Scale published an article about the story, which alluded to Christopher Bushi in the Poochie from the video. In their article, they claimed that they had reached out to Bushi for comment, but he refused to respond. However, Bushi did respond to their questions and claims that he told them more than once that he had nothing to do with grave robbing for morons. That information never made it to the article, and it ends up ambiguously asserting that Bushi produced and sold grave robbing for morons as a publicity stunt for his own company. Interesting. Mystery gets deeper. I want to see a photo, see if I can pull up Anthony Cassima. Wow. A passion for graveyard art that took a criminal turn. Tiffany Glass and Other Tales from the Crypt. There's that New York Times article. That's Anthony Cassima. Did he pass away? That's not a very common name, that last name. Yeah, he did. Look at that. Where's this at? Yeah, this is up in New York up there.
Get caught, all right? But if there's witnesses for the rest of them, you will get caught too. Why? Because they're gonna blame you for it, right? Because they caught you for this one, that means you most likely did the rest of them, and the judge will say it was you. Never leave witnesses. If you have to knock them out so that way they think it's a dream. It's best not to kill, but if it's necessary, do it. But it's just best to always have a nice dark bag, not plastic white like this, white, because you can see through it, right? You can see shapes. Use paper bags or a book bag that's leather or something like that, so you can't see the shape. So when you finally find the place, make sure it's cure and everything. Make sure you so always bring more than one person. Make sure one person is outside. Make a test first. See how much noise protrudes outside. Okay, you have to set somebody on each side. There's to make it at least.
You get a New York vibe, though. I get a New York vibe when he's talking. I do get that. So, wow, very interesting, you guys. He was the inspiration behind Buffalo Bill. Ed Gein, yes. Ed Gein was a real sick dude, wasn't he? Depends on the buyer. Ed Gein, yeah, man, that guy, there was a movie made after him. That guy was disturbed. 1906 to 1984. Movie The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Y'all see how this takes you down a rabbit hole? Start going down a rabbit hole. Before you know it. Yeah. There is a little bit from this particular topic or story called Grave Robbing for Morons. If you ever wondered why you may have seen that, there you go. That's what it means. Grave robbing for morons. People still are trying to figure out what this man's identity is to this day. Yeah, very sick. Y'all, I'm going to step on out of here. I don't know when I'll be live. Make sure you hit the bell so that you know. Hey, what's up, Abso? How are you, sir? Good to see you. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. We're just over here. We took a little field trip to the dark web. We took a little field trip. Kind of just hanging out today on Black Friday. I am going to drop a link to the Discord, by the way, so that we can welcome people to the Discord. I'm going to drop it in the live chat for those that may catch this on the replay. I probably will not remember to make and pin a comment, so you're going to have to come into the live chat. And it goes down in the Discord. Hey, Natalie. Yeah, I mean, it didn't really get too bad as far as the morbid piece of it. It really didn't get too bad. It's at the worst, he's definitely trying to like pose the bones and give advice on how to it's really weird. I can't begin to even explain. There's no point. The video speaks for itself, right? But yeah, if you want to have a little something to do to kind of blow your mind a little bit, just Google grave robbing for morons, and you will be delightfully entertained in a way. I wouldn't say delightfully entertained. It will chew up a little bit of time. But this has been a mystery since the 90s. And I do believe that it does. It seems this man seems to indicate that there are several tapes in circulation too. He has a series apparently.
Or something, you get at least $1 million for it. All right, you want Marilyn Monroe, at least get $1 million for it. You know, you get high prices. The more famous they are, get the most high prices. All right. So if that person really wants it, they will get that money.
Wow. So that means that it doesn't even have to be someone that is coming to the funeral that you have to suspect. It's got to be everybody who's going to target you just because of who you were in life. So it's almost like a guarantee that if you get buried, especially if you get buried with valuables, you would be a target for grave robbing. What even prompted me to get on this topic? Lore, the Amazon Prime series I've been checking out called Lore, Lore. actually really good. Season 1, episode 1, or no, season 2, episode 1 is about some grave robbers in Ireland that were getting paid by a doctor really good money to usher bodies to the doctor. The doctor would use those bodies for medical reasons, whatever those reasons were. I believe that in order to become a certain type of doctor, you have to participate in anatomy exercises like autopsying an actual dead body. I know it's required for some, like pathologists and stuff like that. They have to go through that like in their college coursework or whatnot. Where do those bodies come from? It's where we sort of start looking at the aspect of how people make money displaying dead bodies. There's a market for that, an actual real market. Now y'all got me curious about something. Hold on a sec. Origins of exhibited cadavers questioned. For 2 years now, exhibitions. Actually, I don't have to say.
Support for NPR and the following message come from Duckhorn Vineyards, Napa, California. Duckhorn Vineyards has been crafting classic Napa Valley wines with a sense of place for more than 40 years. Learn more at duckhorn.com/NPR.
For 2 years now, exhibitions of human cadavers have been traveling the country. The corpses in these shows have been preserved and solidified through a process called plastination. Often their outer layers are peeled back to reveal their organs or joints or muscles. The exhibitions have been wildly successful around the world, selling millions of tickets and earning tens of millions of dollars in the U.S. alone. Not surprisingly, they have also been dogged by criticism. As NPR's Neda Ulubi reports, one delicate ethical concern stands out above all others.
At the Body Worlds 2 exhibition, the corpses are ice dancing and skateboarding. They're doing yoga. Stripped of their skin, they're creatures of muscle, robustly red as though suffused with oxygen. Ironically, each is a picture of health.
Body Worlds is not gory, it shows the beauty of the body.
That's Dr. Günther von Hagens at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science last spring. He's
I believe this is the real democratization of anatomy. Everybody, any layperson, has access to the beauty beneath the skin.
Of course, they have to pay $25 to get in. But many visitors, like tourist Angel Campos from New Mexico, say it's worth every cent. Campos says Body Worlds is like wandering through an anatomy textbook, but the plastinates do give him pause.
I wonder who they were. I wonder how they got here.
And that is the key ethical question, whether the bodies were legitimately obtained. According to von Hagens and the science museums that show his work, every whole body exhibited in North America comes from fully informed European and American donors who give permission in writing for their bodies to be displayed. Günther von Hagens sat down with NPR in an Airy Museum conference room to discuss where the bodies came from.
What I certainly never use for public exhibitions are unclaimed bodies, prisoners, bodies from mental institutions, or even executed prisoners.
Allegations and controversies have followed von Hagens around the world. He's something of a multinational corporation. Most of von Hagens' plastination is done at his main laboratories, which he's moved from Germany to Kyrgyzstan, then the People's Republic of China.
The Chinese are better in dissection skills. They have the patience which we in Europe don't have, the fine muscle dexterity which is necessary to bring out those specimens of the high quality.
Chinese medical schools supply von Hagens with unclaimed bodies, which he plastinates and sells to medical schools around the world. Von Hagens used to take cadavers from the former Soviet Union, but he stopped after body trafficking scandals in Russia and the Kyrgyz Republic. Customs officials 5 years ago intercepted 56 bodies and hundreds of brain samples sent from the Novosibirsk Medical Academy to von Hagens' Heidelberg lab. The cadavers were traced to a Russian medical examiner who last year was convicted of illegally selling the bodies of homeless people, prisoners, and indigent hospital patients. Von Hagens was not charged with any wrongdoing, and he maintains categorically that his cadavers are obtained only through proper legal and ethical channels.
It's so nice to sensationalize this most successful traveling exhibition on Earth since 10 years by bringing out some kind of fantasy stories.
Still, NPR has learned that no clear paper trail leads from willing donors to exhibited bodies. People donating their bodies to von Hagens send consent forms to his Institute for Plastination. They pay to have their bodies transported to a plastination facility. There, their donor forms and death certificates are checked. That paperwork is then separated from the bodies, which could be used for displays or sold in pieces to medical schools. No one will know for sure because each plastinated corpse is made anonymous to protect its privacy, says Hans Martin Saas. He's a philosophy professor with a specialty in ethics. He was hired by the California Science Center to investigate body worlds before the show's U.S. debut in 2004.
And they sent me to Heidelberg to compare the donation forms with the death certificates in order to make sure that the people who signed the donation form, whole body donation form, actually had died.
Saas matched over 200 donor forms to death certificates, but he did not match the death certificates and donation forms to the specific bodies von Hagens has on display.
He has made a firewall between the real person and the plastinated body.
I understand the point of the firewall for the general public or even for a journalist like me.
Yeah.
But it seems that an ethicist whose job it is to make sure that the bodies being exhibited do belong to the people who say that they donated them, it might be important to verify.
Yes, and I should tell you very frankly, I had an exchange with Mr. Van Hagens about that.
But Saas came to agree with von Hagens' policy on anonymity and approved the exhibition, although whether the bodies are from informed donors comes down to von Hagens' word. Saas's ethical report was central to the California Science Center's review and has been used to support each exhibition of body worlds in North America. Science Center consultant Sheila Grinnell.
It's hard. Science centers don't have a way, really, of going back and checking every single detail of the provenance of all those bodies.
Grinnell says body worlds provided a windfall for science museums, which, like other cultural institutions, have faced attendance and funding struggles. Still, she does not believe they've cut ethical corners.
The museum leaders are following the controversy. Nobody wants to get a black eye. Everybody wants to increase their audience.
And they have. Body World's 3 U.S. shows have drawn so far over 3 million visitors. Body Worlds, by the way, should not be confused with its competitor, Bodies the Exhibition. Günter von Hagens' Body Worlds is now in St. Paul, Houston, and Boston. Bodies the Exhibition is in Tampa, Atlanta, Las Vegas, and New York City. Its spokesman is retired Professor Roy Glover. He says its cadavers, all from China, did not come from willing donors.
They are unclaimed. We don't hide from it. We address it right up front.
For that reason, many venues will not display Bodies the Exhibition. Groups like the Laogai Research Foundation, which documents human rights abuse in China, have charged the category of unclaimed bodies in China includes executed political prisoners. Harry Wu founded the group, and he's testified before Congress on China's organ trade. Wu says rampant corruption in totalitarian China makes it impossible to compare with the U.S., and he says he is not impressed by claims that the cadavers came to the exhibition legally.
This is law, Chinese law, right? Legal, right? Chinese do everything legal, by their law, legal.
It was perfectly legal to bring Chinese cadavers here as educational specimens. But the Chinese government has cracked down on the cadaver trade, banning export this month except for medical research. Arnie Geller is president of Premier Exhibitions, the company that brought the bodies from China.
I guess we'll be looking in other areas of the world for experts who can do this work.
Geller and his spokesman, Roy Glover, say it's unfair to link Bodies the Exhibition with dark assessments of international cadaver regulations.
People can raise those issues, but I think they've been addressed successfully and satisfactorily.
But when Bodies the Exhibition opened first in Tampa, Florida last summer, the State Anatomical Board requested documentation proving the corpses were ethically obtained. Dr. Lynn Romrell, who chairs the board, says it got only a letter from the show's Chinese plastinator asserting that they were.
He stated that none of the material came from criminal institutions or from homes for the mentally insane. But just his word on that, no documents.
Romrell wanted to close the exhibition down, but he says the State Anatomical Board lacked the authority. He says still he's not against the exhibition in principle.
If they had signed statements from donors that I release my body for public display and for a company to profit from the public display of my body, I couldn't argue against that. But they don't have that kind of documentation.
The owner of Body Worlds, Gunter von Hagens, says each body he displays can be accounted for, but he's unwilling to make public a complete paper trail. His competition, Bodies the Exhibition, relies on documentation from a country with a problematic human rights record, where even at best, its exhibitors say the bodies were not formally donated by people who agreed to be displayed. Yet, despite questions about the two exhibitions, both continue to draw hundreds of thousands of visitors around the country, and some museums are even thinking about adding plastinates to their permanent collection. Netta Ulubi, NPR News.
You can hear Netta Ulubi's report on the popularity of the Body World exhibit and see images and video from it at npr.org.
Interesting, huh? I'm a nerd and a geek, so I listen to NPR quite frequently, actually. I actually enjoy NPR. But yeah, it's very, I almost tell you, I just felt a wave of guilt there. I felt a wave of guilt for the money that I spent to go to this exhibit now. Yeah. Plastication. No actual paperwork of where these bodies come from. Could your body be on the table there? Is that possible? An entire spawn business. Look at this. This is crazy because 10 years ago, he didn't have multiple people plastinating multiple bodies like this. I mean, again, this wasn't going on 10, 20 years ago. This man has a whole, look at this laboratory. He's got employees that are professionally plasticating corpses. In any sort of sick way they want to plasticate them. Where did the bodies come from? There's always a market, for this type of stuff. It's macabre, but interesting. Look, kidneys, somebody's kidneys. It's fascinating. I think that's probably the better word. It's fascinating, I guess, But he done did this and pushed it to a professional level scale. Now he's got these people. Look, he's got John Doe, and John Doe there, who obviously are employed by him, right? Spending their 8 hours a day posing specimens in, yeah. Where did the bodies come from?
In order to provide a polished surface, the sheets are once again cast in epoxy resin following impregnation, this time with a flat glass container. Finally, they are hardened in a kiln. Plastination was invented in 1977 by the doctor and anatomist Gunther von Hagens. Since then, it's been continually developed and refined. Today, his workshop is located in Guben in Brandenburg, close to the German-Polish border. It's the largest and most modern plastination center in the world.
Says. That dude is weird, okay? Gunther von Hagen. That is one weird fucking dude, okay? That's one weird white dude. Yeah, he's a strange cat. He always has been a strange cat. So I guess he's has Parkinson's, right? He's dealing with Parkinson's right now, and I don't know if he's even dead or alive right now. I have to check, but in 2002, Gunther von Hagens risked arrest conducting Britain's first public autopsy in 170 years. Last year, he staged an expedition in Berlin that showed dead bodies arranged as though they were having sexual intercourse. See, that's where they just take it too far. It's just going too far. And now I feel this wave of guilt having spent money to go to that show now. I do. But there's where it lies in being macabre, right? And interesting and fascinating at the same time. Items on sale include, wait a second. The German anatomist Gunther von Hagens has sparked renewed controversy by offering plastinated body parts for sale. The organs were made available on Friday from Hagens Center in Guben in the state of Brandenburg. The center is now dubbed the Supermarket of Death by German daily newspaper Bild. In a process invented by Hagens, skin and other tissues are removed from parts of the body, which are then preserved within a synthetic resin. Items on sale include a blackened smoker's lung for $4,475, a testicle for $444. Hagens, who some in the media referred to as Dr. Death, said in a statement that he would only sell to qualified individuals and organizations such as doctors, professors, teaching institutes, and hospitals. Whoa, wow. Wow. It's weird, man. That dude is so weird. When he did that autopsy, it was televised. I mean, it was, and it's now when you look back at it, looking back, it's not as shocking as it was when he did it, but it definitely made waves, for sure. It made some waves. Freaking weirdo. Dude's a whole weirdo. Yeah, I feel like we funded a murderer. Yeah, I know. Feels really dirty, huh? Oh, wow. I got to work with several cadavers. We always treated them with the utmost respect. This guy was killing off the freaks and selling them to the museum. There's always a market for this sort of thing. Could you imagine, like, even like going home with this guy or even a quickie? This guy is weird, okay? This is weird. The body world. So I guess he wants to be part of his own exhibit after death. Yeah, okay. I believe you can find the autopsy that he did on YouTube, or is probably embedded in a site somewhere too, but he autopsied a couple of bodies. It wasn't even just one. It was a couple of bodies. He sort of showed you the difference in a diseased organ versus a non-diseased organ. These sexual positions that he's putting these cadavers in, like, why? To shock you. To shock you. I think it's way past being okay. We're past scientific knowledge that needs to be gained from this. They have turned this into a business at this point. The more dead bodies on display, the better. Meaning they're going to need dead bodies to fill in that gap. That's at the root of the day. That's what they need, is the bodies. Where do the bodies come from? Sometimes, you know, these people that look professional, like they got all the money in the world. Look at this. This is ridiculous. And he makes sure he takes a photo with every one of these creations, doesn't he? Wow. Just something to think about, huh? Something to think about. Guys, I'm out of here. I'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for hanging out with me. I had a good time. I don't know if this video will even stay up. Who knows? But y'all know how to reach me. Check the community wall for the Discord link. Bye, guys.